Hello and welcome to a mini episode of Predictocast, the podcast where we predict the plot of a movie we know nothing about. I'm Josh, and with me, as always, is Skinner. Hey, Skinner.
Hey, Josh. Hey, everybody out there. All my bodies out there. That was really a stretch, wasn't it?
Yeah, you try, and sometimes they're more successful than others, and it's not your best effort, but still. It still works if people have stuck with us long enough.
Long enough, yeah. I mean, I think what makes a good bit work is failing at it a lot. So when it does hit, it's like a breath of release and relief. You're like, oh, he didn't fuck that up. Wow, I feel so good now. I was just clenching, waiting for him to say something stupid.
Exactly. So this week on our mini episode, we're revealing the next film that we're covering on the show. And this is very different for us because normally we cover a lot of really, really obscure, unknown, low budget, dumb bullshit that no one has ever heard of. But this week we're shaking things up a little bit because every so often, less so with me, but more so with you, as you stated before we recorded this episode, that you will never watch another movie that's not for this podcast again.
I will never watch another movie. I know Boss Baby 2 wants me to watch it, but I will never, and I can't be held responsible for this if I don't hold to it. I will never watch another movie not for the podcast again. Never, ever, never, ever.
This time around, we're going to do something that's very different for us. As I was saying though, a lot of times, like, I know a lot about these various movies that, even if I haven't seen them, it's hard for us to do them on the show because, it's hard to go into it completely blind. And while I'm not going in completely blind in this scenario, I am going in pretty blind for a fairly big budget movie, and I think there's a couple reasons for that. But next week on the show, we are covering Jennifer's Body from 2009, a movie that I have not seen, but when it landed on Hulu, which is where it is currently streaming right now for free, if you have a subscription, you can also rent it on Amazon. The internet kind of blew up because over time there has been this reappraisal of this film because it kind of bombed when it came out. I do remember that, and people didn't like it. And I think the reason that people didn't like it is because of sexism.
I think this is one of those ones. I'm not the expert on this because I don't watch movies, but besides for this podcast, there's a certain amount of the world getting against somebody, and we're seeing really kind of that come up in like how we as a society and media treated Britney Spears and so many other people. And I think at this point there was a certain amount of thing out there besides, like, I believe this has some themes that certain people wouldn't like, but also, like, I think people wanted Megan Fox to fail at this point.
Oh, yeah. They hated her. They hated her so much at this point in time in 2009, because this was shortly after the first Transformers movie. And people hated her in that for some reason, even though
and then they hated
that whole movie sucks. So it's not her fault.
The whole movie is gray goo. It is disgust. The robots are disgusting to look at. You can't tell what's going on. Nothing hits at all. It is incredibly boring. If you enjoyed it, it's great. But it was amazing that they hated her for being in it. They hated, and then they hated her for leaving it, and then they hated her for bad-mouthing it.
Yeah, this was the second one that actually came out the same year in 2009 as Jennifer's Body, and I think maybe that was around the time, like, after the movie had come out, that's when she kind of badmouthed, like, the whole thing.
Well, cameras being for some reason down her skirt and up her skirt.
Yeah, and I think for some reason people just, like, love Michael Bay, and they were just willing to side with him and say that she was a bad person for whatever reason. And yeah, they just didn't like her. And I think that it's kind of this weird thing where this movie was just like bound to fail when it came out because of how much people hated her. And I'm not saying that she's a perfect person and doesn't deserve some scrutiny or whatever, but like it did seem very much a sort of sexist, misogynist thing with this woman who's calling out shitty, sexist, misogynist stuff in the movies and just being in a situation that she didn't like, and then people getting mad at her for it.
Yeah, people don't like being told that someone's being gross. Something they like involves someone being gross making it. And hey, we're going through that. Went to date time. That's like the video games industry. Hey, if you like World of Warcraft, that's great. A lot of shitty people the state of California is now taken to court for. But like,
well, when did Gamergate start? Was that that was later than 2009, right?
I think
that
a
was
little
like
bit later,
10, 11.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing that built towards it of like,
yeah,
like don't you really started with like people pointing out like, hey, there's no women protagonists in games, or if they do, they're sexualized, and you just see like Twitter or MySpace, I guess back then, or just like websites bombed by like, you know, this is, how dare you, this is our space. You can't come in here and put your values into our space because this is what we want. And it's like, people still do that. But, you know, like whole websites were just built upon, hey, this actor or actress are famous, and don't you hate them? Let's scrutinize everything. And the more famous you were, the more scrutinized you could be. And like, this very much felt like she thinks she's so hot at this point, and let's knock her down a peg. But also, like, this is a movie. I don't know a lot about it other than from the Twitter reaction of like, this is probably a very crazy movie for a mainstream, widely released movies. And those movies in the moment when they have big stars tend to have a reaction of people going to it expecting one thing and then walking away saying, what the fuck was that? I was expecting a rollicking good time, and I got this weird, crazy, over-the-top movie that I wasn't expecting. And then those age incredibly well because we love bonkers over time.
Yeah, well, and I think too, probably in addition to that, I think there's probably some social commentary in there that maybe was perhaps a little bit over the heads of folks at that point.
Or they wanted to be over their heads. Or they're just angry about it.
Maybe. And also, you know, it's not only got Megan Fox in it, but it was written by Diablo Cody, who, you know, was very popular a couple years before from Juno, but she also got a little bit of backlash just because of how sort of twee and her stuff was. And so I think there's like a lot of things, and it's, what
is twee dialogue gets so much blowback over time, but really horrifyingly bad wooden dialogue we just let go, keep going if we have good visuals.
I don't know, man. I think it's just there's just a, you know, very, very specific sort of group of people that it's appealing to, and maybe, you know, maybe the movie has some messages about things that you know, people didn't want to see at the time. They want to go to a movie with hot Megan Fox and see her be like sexy and violent
and leaning over a car.
And then when they get some sort of message in their film, and again, I know literally nothing about this except that I think she's a monster, but that's also might not be right. Like, maybe she's an alien. I don't know anything about it. Like, literally, I somehow have missed this entirely. And I think, and I'm going to be honest, I think probably I bought into some of that bullshit at the time, and I was like, well, I have no need to see that because I've heard it's bad. And I have no reason to think that it is bad. I've heard nothing from people I respect. I've heard nothing but good things. So it's like, why did I avoid that? Did I buy into it because I was a dumb asshole at that point in my life? And I was like, well, all these other people say that it's not good, so I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, it used to be a shithead with your sloppy steaks. I had the excuse at the time that I had like a 1-year-old kid, so I was busy.
And again, as we've said on this show before, you're not a movie person. So the fact that you have hosted a movie podcast with me for the last like 4.5 years is a testament to our friendship and just how good of a person you are.
It's movie tangential sometimes. That's all I could say. There's images on a screen, but some of them aren't really movies.
But honestly, it's less about the movies. It's more about the conversation and the friends we made along the way.
I think what's funny is that it really hasn't come up until like the last season and a half. But it's been true all along. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. But no, like I would have had to like actually physically had the disc from Netflix sent to me, and that wasn't going to happen at the time. Yeah. But you know, to me, it's amazing that you didn't like 2009, Josh. I would have assumed had saw everything that year.
I was a voracious moviegoer in that time period, and also a voracious movie watcher. Like I was watching all kinds of stuff, and this was, it was that era where I wasn't really doing anything. Like I think I just, it was just one of those things where I was watching movies all the time, and somehow this one just slipped by me. And whether it's because of the, like toxic bullshit that was sort of percolating about it, and how people were saying it wasn't good for, whatever reason that they had, or that I heard it was like a bomb for some reason and I gave a shit about box office. Who knows? Like, honestly, I don't know. And if it is for any of those reasons, then, hey, I'm ashamed. But I think we all go through shithead phases, and we have to grow out of them, hopefully at some point in our lives, but not everybody does.
Like me, I never will see a movie again. I want to point out, I don't think movies are bad, and I'm not watching them for shithead reasons. I'm not good at watching movies, and a lot of that has to do with an anxiety disorder, and having to sit through a movie is not enjoyable to me at times. And at some point my brain went to like, I don't have to watch these except for if I have a podcast about them. So that's what ended up there. What I like about this one is someone actually might listen to the podcast for this one because people will know the fucking movie. That's always a plus. Not a plus we go after that often, to our incredible detriment.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, a lot of times I know all the stuff that's out there that would make for probably good fodder, and it's like, well, it sucks because that would make for a good movie if I hadn't already seen it or knew a lot about it.
And sometimes I know a lot of movies through osmosis from knowing you. But two, this is probably, of all the movies we've done with this new format, and a lot of our formats, is going to have the absolute most IMDb keywords that we are ever going to come across for our fucking show.
Sure, yeah. So before we jump into the keywords, though, we had
to talk about our format and how we do this.
Well, that we do, yes. So on the mini episodes, obviously we set up our predictions for what we think the movie is going to be about, and we do that based on a couple of different things. We look at any kind of poster material that we have available to us, which hopefully doesn't give away too much information. We also look at any taglines that may be available to us that have been put out by the production company. And we also look at the treasure trove, in this case, of IMDb keywords, and try to zero in on a couple that jump out at us and see where that takes our predictions. So before we jump into the IMDb keywords, let's look at maybe the posters that we have out there. Let's see what we've got.
To make this a more interactive segment, sometimes I think when we say like the words, let's look at the poster together, we should have like a little sound that chings for like if we were actually presenting it to a live audience, so everyone knows, hey, pull it up on your phone.
So it's like it should be a chime, like an audio book that says "Turn the page now," like for children,
like that, or a boing, like someone got hit with a ball in the groin.
Well, I'm sending you the main poster, which I think is the primary artwork that is available for this film. It's the one that I'm most used to seeing.
Yes,
everywhere.
This is one that's the other one you'll see is just. We'll talk about that. There's one other one, but it is far less interesting than this one.
Yes. So the main one that you might be used to seeing, it's the one that's on the IMDb page, and is I think the main movie poster that was marketed. Is we see Megan Fox sitting in a dingy classroom, as this was the late 2000s, so everything was very grungy. And disgusting at all times.
It looks like a really shitty restaurant's or dive bar's bathroom, but with a chalkboard.
It does. It looks like a school-themed dive bar.
Which would be a really
bad
bad one to go to for anyone. Nothing good can happen there.
So we have her sitting front and center on a desk, on an old school desk, and there is with one of those wooden tops that you could lift up and put things inside, and we see a hand coming out of the desk like it's being crushed, like there's someone trapped inside that little bitty tiny desk.
Or Cousin It. Or Thing.
Or Cousin It. Ooh, all right. So, all right, here's a prediction. Is it Cousin It?
Is Cousin It?
Or no, not It. Thing.
Wait,
Thing.
Hey, it could have It and Thing in this. We don't know that.
That's true.
For
There
sure.
could be let me scan the corners of this poster and see if there's any hair sticking out that might lead me to believe that Cousin It is in this.
He's just off screen.
Yeah, he's just off screen. But yeah, she's sitting on this desk. She's holding some textbooks. One of them, it looks like History 101.
That seems rather generic.
Yeah, I don't know if
they really want
maybe history is important in this.
Maybe it is. I mean, if they had known what was going to happen with the box office in reaction to this, they should have just called it Herstory and just really upset everyone on MySpace.
Oh, actually, that's not history. I'm reading that wrong. It might be chemistry. Oh,
that makes more sense because sexual chemistry. I don't know. That's the best I could do.
Yes. No, I think you're right. There is a scratched up blackboard behind her. It says "Hell Yes" on it, which makes me leads me to believe that maybe she is a demon and not an alien.
We haven't had a good. Have we had a good demon or hell movie since Hunk? What if this is Girl Hunk?
Oh shit! It might be. What if she like sells her soul to the devil to get ahead in chemistry, and she's replaced by Megan Fox?
I was going to say that makes no sense, but then Hunk, he
sells his soul to write a program.
Like I think he sold his soul to get hot. He also sold his soul to write a computer program, with a computer, not a computer program.
Yes, and we have across the top from the Academy Award-winning writer of Juno. So I think that might also be where some of the issues came, because Juno was kind of billed as more of like a comedy with a little bit of drama thrown in.
A dramedy.
And so maybe people, sure, but it was more comedy than drama. So I'm wondering if people were going to this expecting it to be more comedic, and maybe it is just a straight up kind of like horror film.
I don't know.
They didn't like that.
That hand out of the desk is very funny.
That is true, especially if it is Thing. If there is an Addams Family bit here.
What if this is the origin story of Thing?
Oh, I like that. They set it up. She chops off some guy's hand and then it comes to life because of her weird magic powers and runs off. And then we just hear we see the hand run away, and then very low in the soundtrack we hear the Addams Family snaps. Da-da-da-da.
I mean, could you imagine the audience just exploding in cheers when they hear those snaps?
I would. That would be exciting because then I would lean over to whoever I was with and go, "Oh, this is about the Addams family," and then I would go, "Sir, I don't know you. Please get away from me."
And then you would get even closer and go, "I thought it was a sequel to Idle Hands," starring Seth Green.
And we have the tagline, the only tagline that I've seen for the movie: "She's evil, and not just high school evil."
That's not I mean, I get what they're saying there, but that's not a thing.
Well, I think that what they're kind of banking on is, I think we're thinking about like, because was this the era of like mean high school kids? Well, let's see, Mean Girls. No, that was like 4 years prior, so maybe not. But that's still kind of in the public consciousness a little bit.
It is.
Like they had a lot of more teeny things like. Well, Easy A wasn't out yet. I'm trying to look at all the kind of like teen movies from that era.
IMDb keyword for mean high school girls?
Maybe. But okay, so what are we?
But like in my head, I want that to be she's evil, not just New Year's evil.
Also a great movie that would be good for this show if I had not watched it every single New Year's Eve for like the last 3 or 4 years.
How many times have you watched Idle Hands?
I think like one and a, like maybe half. I've never watched the whole thing.
Once a night.
One and a half times a week.
It's the only way I keep myself from masturbating.
I think maybe, so could that mean that maybe that Megan Fox's character is like a mean girl before she is taken over by whatever it is, whether she's possessed by a demon or a monster or like an alien or something? Like she's already mean, and then when she gets possessed, like people think that she's normal, so they don't notice it right away.
Or they could do the thing where she is a demon from the beginning, but you can't tell the difference because that's just how high school girls are.
They could be saying something about the.
And I want to mention she's wearing red, like the devil wears red pajamas.
That's true. Maybe she's the devil. I don't know. Maybe that would be interesting if we find out that like.
I don't know if her last name is like not like time. Jennifer DeVille.
Yes, the very on the nose way of letting us know that she's evil. Yeah, Cruella DeVille.
I mean, we joke, but this happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a film, and my bad guy's gonna be named Johnny Badman.
Why not just name them like, I don't know, Jennifer Hitler?
That would be.
And then a twist, they're not a bad guy, but I don't want to see that. No one wants to.
Yeah. She is related to Hitler, but still not bad.
I really am taking a leap that I assume that she is Jennifer. Like that is.
Yeah, I think we're safe to assume that.
But I mean, like it could be that she's after Jennifer's body.
Ooh, maybe. Well, see, that's the thing. That Jennifer's body implies that maybe it has been possessed. So, like, it has been possessed by an evil
Jennifer's
entity.
Body.
Exactly.
It could be some kind of pun, and her last name is Jennifer Boudet. Hi, welcome to predictocast, where we predict a movie's podcast based on the movie poster. Every time I say something stupid, I'm just going to reset the podcast right here.
That's just like the guy in the guy in Clue, the victim in Clue whose murder you're trying to solve is named Mr. Body. So,
what if this is a Clue-like movie?
Ooh, I'm fine with that. Everybody's in a mansion trying to solve who killed her with a candlestick.
They're all trying to find Jennifer's body or solve the mystery of why her body's around.
I know who did it. The devil did it with his pitchfork in the boiler room.
Why is it always the devil with a pitchfork? I mean, that's all he's got to work with.
Yeah, it's part of his hand. He can't get rid of it. It's fused in there. All right,
he's like Neptune except for red. That's what I know about the devil.
So let's turn to our new favorite thing of this new season and our new format. Looking at the IMDb plot keywords, there are 226 of these. My goodness, you are right. This is definitely probably the most we will ever have.
And we can only pick 5 favorite ones each.
Yes, so we definitely can only pick 5 that are our favorites that we can then use to try to further our predictions for the film.
Yes, but I am going to attempt to pick the ones that are the least useful.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick the least useful ones.
No, I mean you can do more, but I am going to do ones that at least you could kind of, I don't know, you could kind of compensate for me like you usually do on these podcasts. And just
sure.
Try to be useful. I will attempt.
We all know you're the funnier one, so.
People are probably arguing with that right now. So I went first last time, chronologically in recording, but not maybe in what came out on the feed, which I already forget. It was a lot of people named Justin, but
yes,
if it was Justin's body, I mean, we would have been so smart to slowly just have Justin.
I mean, I know we don't normally do this, but I'm going to double check the cast list, see if we got another Justin on here real quick. No Justins, but we do have a character named Chip. So
we do have a character named Needy. So maybe we're not being so off the mark for people being named on the nose.
Yeah, maybe. All right, let's see. I'm going to go first. I'm going to... Ooh, now this one's interesting. It's just catching my eye really quick. Title based on song.
What song is Jennifer's butt? What is it? Look it up right now. We're allowed to look up song spoilers.
Jennifer's Body song. Let's see.
What's the song? It's not like Stacy's Mom.
Oh, it's from it's by the band Hole, led by Courtney Love.
I haven't listened to them.
And we cannot look it up because we cannot look up what it's about because apparently it is the inspiration. Oh, it's the inspiration for the title of the film. Okay, so it doesn't. Apparently there's not something going on in the song that potentially connects to the movie, though it could. I don't know. Actually, looking at it, sounds terrible. The song, it sounds like it is about a very awful thing. So about some hopefully kidnapping and dismemberment.
That's terrible. I hope maybe somebody else can break down that song line by line for a podcast.
Based on a real thing, apparently.
Oh, that's terrible, but that's good to know. That doesn't help us for the movie, other than maybe this is a Courtney Love cameo.
Ooh, maybe. I bet we hear the song in the credits. I'm going to make that prediction.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think we might have something by Jimmy Eats World in this movie.
Okay.
I am going to go with, and this is going to be a little throwback to a really old reference based on a former guest on the show, Dan McCoy. You might know him from the Flophouse podcast. We have Hook for a Hand.
That's a tag.
That is one of the tags, is Hook for a Hand.
Wow.
The hand we see in the poster is not a hook. It could be replaced by a hook, though.
But it could be replaced by a hook. I like that. She cuts off someone's hand and then they have a hook for a hand later on.
No,
interesting.
I would love if this took place at Fantasyland at Disney World, and she attacks Captain Hook in his large costume.
They rewrite it. She's not possessed by a demon. She's possessed by an alligator or a crocodile, whichever one took his hand.
Is any character in the movie named Mr. Smee?
Man. Ooh, I love that. That's some evocative imagery.
Mr. Smee, evocative.
No, I meant the hook for a hand part.
Okay. All right, you're up next.
All right, let's see here. Ooh, here's a good one. Christ allegory.
This wouldn't be our first Christ allegory on this podcast.
No, I don't think so. But usually those are like action movies where the guy thinks he's Jesus.
One was an alien.
That's
or
true.
Half alien.
That's true. You're right. The God Told Me To was definitely an alien.
One of the best movies we've done for this podcast. Not
absolutely.
One of the best movies. One of the best movies for this podcast.
I wonder if Jennifer is in fact possessed by a devil, is there going to be someone who's possessed by Jesus?
We're all possessed by Jesus as long as we let him into our hearts.
Hook-handed Jesus is going to fight this devil.
Now you're just writing a fucking South Park episode.
Man.
Is basketball in this thing? Going back to my completely irrelevant things list that I have to use here. So my first one's almost too relevant. I want to go the opposite direction, and I'm going to go with apostrophe in title. Whoever's putting this together, the whole list of movies with apostrophe in the title, like, we can tell it's okay. You don't have to write that down. It's literally there.
I would love that. I would love to know who did that and their thinking behind it. It's like, well, someone is going to be out there and they're going to need to know that there are other films with apostrophes in the title, and they're making a list and they want to watch all of them. So
I want to tell you, because we did this before in the past, but this time I have to do it. I have to do it. Because these three movies have been put to, these three products have been put together as a list. Is the top three for apostrophes in title. So they are listed together in a list as a group. Okay. Three things that someone has lumped together as being similar. And I want to tell you the number 3 movie is Jennifer's Body. The number 3 movie with apostrophe in the title.
Okay.
What is number 2?
Oh shit. Is it something I'm gonna know?
It's something you are going to know.
Oh man.
You're going to know the first 2, and they are not of a pair.
William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet.
Oh, I wish it was. So we don't stretch it out. It is Schindler's List.
Oh my God.
But not number 1.
What's number 1?
Number 1.
Oh, okay.
It does not have to be a movie. It can also be a TV show or anything else on IMDb with an apostrophe in the title.
Wait, what? McHale's Navy.
No. You have one more chance.
Hogan's Heroes.
Unfortunately, no. It is the top 3 movies with apostrophes in the title, or things on IMDb with an apostrophe in the title. Number 3, Jennifer's Body. Number 2, Schindler's fucking List. Number 1, Dawson's Creek.
Get the fuck out of here.
So, what does that tell us about this movie?
Wow. Well, it implies some connections that I don't want to think about.
But whatever, like, the apostrophe in this title is not as strong as Schindler's List, or even less strong, Dawson's Creek. Dawson owns that creek more than Schindler owns that list.
Oh man. All right. For my third one, we're on the 3 right now, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go with food as sex metaphor.
That's all food is, honestly. What food is it going to be?
What food? Yeah, exactly. What food is it? Are we going to go the dick route? Are we going to have a pickle? Are we going to have a banana? Are we going to have a eggplant? Or are we going to go the vagina route? Are we going to have a sliced open melon of some kind? Are we going to have
That's your first one, huh? Hey, baby, look at your sliced open melon.
Ooh, girl, let me get that sliced open melon.
That's the whole fucking thing.
Oh, cantaloupe, baby. Okay, yeah. I don't know what
I'm guessing
that
from the
will be,
other ones we haven't mentioned yet, other keywords, that maybe a peach would be more.
Ooh, yes, maybe so. Maybe Nick Cage shows up and talks about how long he can eat a peach for.
If the internet hadn't shown me a gif of Nicolas Cage in every movie he's ever been in, I wouldn't be surprised if he would be in this movie in a small role.
Well, no, okay. Let's be clear here, though. It says food as sex metaphor. So is that just going to be like a representation of a particular set of genitals, or is it going to be for the actual like object, like the actual act itself? So is it going to be like someone
like a banana going
sticking
in a
yes, a banana going through the middle of a donut?
I mean, that's all it can be. That's the only sex metaphor that exists.
Or someone dipping a pickle in some yogurt. I don't know.
Oh, man. Please line up for Josh. For my number three, which I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to go with something that's really going to put this movie in a place in time. I got to scroll a little bit because there's just so many of these. Reference to MySpace.
I saw that one. I had a feeling that was going to come up.
It is I think that's number 2 movie with a reference to MySpace on it.
What is number 1? The Social Network.
No, it's not even in the top 10. Greenberg is. Number 1 is Iron Man.
Well, I think any of these lists will have a Marvel movie at the top because that's all that people watch. That's why Endgame is at the top movies of all time list on IMDb.
Luckily, if it was called Iron's Man, we would have been in the top of the last list. Reference to MySpace. Does someone lead someone to their death through a MySpace post?
Ooh, what I bet it is? I bet somebody gets excited because Jennifer puts them in her top 8.
I never had a MySpace, and I don't know what you could do on MySpace.
Oh man, it was great. I think that you would have probably liked it because it was so trashy.
You're just basing that on my fleets, aren't you?
Yes, because you could really make your MySpace look like a blingy GIF. Like that's what you did there. Like you would have, it was so cacophonous because people would have music playing. Like they would have a profile song that they would put on there, and then they would autoplay. So it was just whatever fucking music you had to like set it so it wouldn't autoplay. But if you'd go to someone's page,
Cotton Eye Joe be playing on mine the second you logged on to it, my friend.
And you could deck out your page with all kinds of garish colors and GIFs in the background, and like really just. You could really just do it up. And they had a thing called Top 8 where you would put sort of your top 8 friends, the people whose pages you constantly went to. That sounds
passive-aggressive as fuck.
Yeah. And
now,
it was
like,
kind of this...
you just know someone's top 8 because they're the 8 people they do a podcast with that's on your friends list.
And yeah, it was a terrible place, but you know, I'm very curious to see how it pops up in this. I
do
movie.
Enjoy that my brand is make something horrifying and just terrible to look at or experience.
All right, let's see. For my 4th one, I don't know what this means, but I'm very curious. F-rated. What is F-rated? Does that mean that the movie got an F by like some? Okay, yeah, this might be a shitty dudes thing.
So they're basically saying this is a bad movie.
I think so, because number 1 is Black Widow, and number 3 is Twilight.
Feminist rated.
Yes,
that's. IMDb, why are you letting them do this?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not, but Captain Marvel's also on here. Little Women's on here. So I'm not really sure what they're saying. I don't know
Amazon,
what that means.
You have to do something about this. They have their list to give to each other. They don't need a place where someone can look it up on this fucking website.
I don't know what that means. I'm trying to figure that out.
If you Google that,
no, we're wrong. It's actually a good thing. So we are learning something today. We are broadening our horizons. We are understanding these things better than we would have only moments ago. F-rated is actually awarded to films directed by women and or written by women.
I have never been happier to be wrong in my fucking life.
Yes, me too. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. This is great. I did not realize it's if the film also features significant women on screen in their own right, it is triple F rated, which sounds very dirty.
Okay, I want to give before I talk about my number 4 and talk about dirty, I want to pull up.
This movie's rated fuck. Don't come. Don't bring your kids.
Don't come. Or do you?
But yeah, that's great. I'm so glad that that's a thing that exists and that we were not that we were wrong. So I'm so glad to be wrong.
So I've never been so glad to be wrong, and to balance the podcast where something good has happened, I'm gonna, as I bring up number 4, I'm gonna bring up what the number 4 is. What are the definitions of number 4 on UrbanDictionary.com?
Okay.
Number 4 this is a top definition for number 4. Oral sex performed on a woman. The term is believed to have originated from the extra value meal menu at McDonald's. Filet-O-Fish was number 4.
Oh, Jesus.
And then below it has a ad saying, "Get a number 4 mug for your daughter-in-law, Riley." I will post that on the Twitter. Anyways, number 4. I'm sorry to Riley's out there getting that from their father-in-laws. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with water drip.
Wow, that really is not relevant at all.
That has to be people who are just like super sensitive to any sound, who always complain about podcasts. I'm sorry for my vocal fry, but yeah, water drip. Hopefully dripping off some sort of sexual fruit or vegetable. It's your last one. What are you to pick?
It is my last one, and I think that I'm going to go with one that we'll need to know, because we need to be sure to not turn the movie off immediately as the credits roll. My last one is story continued during the end credits.
Oh no. It's more movie. You know how much I love a good movie ending when it ends.
Yeah.
And yet our movies don't.
And it's weird because that is number 1 on that list.
So it has the most movie after the credits.
I guess maybe the credits roll about 60 minutes in and the rest of the movie plays out after.
Instead of a late title card, it has a very, 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 very early end card. Does Jennifer's body title card appear on her body, you think?
Oh, the title card and the end card are the same thing.
Like she just shows up and it says Jennifer's body written on her actual
I always
body.
I like clever opening credits like that. So I do kind of hope that we do see something like that. That would be pretty fun, I think.
I did not see animated opening, so we have to hope for something.
Oh, yes, I hope so. All right, so we know that we got to stick around for the credits. Give me your last one.
Toy piano.
I hope that
I hope whatever something from the Peanuts is number 1 for that. It's not. It's Jennifer's body. Charlie Brown Christmas is number 6. What the hell are they doing?
I hope that whatever happens to Jennifer, whether she's possessed or like her body is hollowed out and there's a monster living inside it wearing her skin like a suit, that it just takes to loving playing the toy piano.
No, the toy piano means our theory about this being the origin story of Thing is true, because that little hand would play a toy piano. Do-do-do-do.
Very true. He would, or it would. But that's Thing. No, Thing.
This has been this is predictocast podcast where we predict the movie based on the cover and IMDb keywords. Thanks for listening.
This is a long goddamn mini episode. 45 fucking minutes.
I'm so sorry if anyone out here is named Riley.
No, it's great. It's good. It's good. We're excited. I think we should probably wrap it up, though. I don't know anything about this. I feel like she's going to be possessed by some sort of entity and probably kill some people. So that sounds good. I'm down with that. And maybe this will be a much better film than I was led to believe over a decade ago, which I think is the case, based on just the number of people I've seen online who were very excited when it became available to stream. So feel free to watch along with us, and come back next week to hear what we think about Jennifer's Body. I'm excited. This is a big movie for us.
And just us talking about it, right?
Maybe not. I don't want to give it away, but we might have a special guest with us next week. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's if we can work out schedules, it's a regular guest on our show, someone we love and cherish. And so we're very excited to talk about that movie with them. But to find out who it is, and if their schedule allows them to join us to talk about Jennifer's Body, you're going to have to join us next week on the show. But until then, I've been Josh.
I've been Phileo Skinner.
I'm going to go vomit now, but we predict you'll join us next week. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review us over at Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at predictocast, and you can find our entire back catalog at predictocast.com. Our theme music is by Kyle Sledge. Find more of his work at soundcloud.com/geistmusic. As always, thanks for listening. Sorry, Riley.
Your father-in-law's a dick.
Merry Christmas, Riley. Got you this cool mug.
Number 4. It's from
Number
the value
4.
menu.
You know, because you're stinking.
Jesus Christ.
You're stinking down there in your fish parts. Have you heard about QAnon?